Right, boys. Most people will know me for making UK rap beats and samples, but a lot of the time I love creating different things. Sometimes I love experimenting and combining lots of simple ideas to create unique samples. Today I'm going to break down one of these samples and show you my process step by step. Absolutely flipping beautiful loop, that is. Super simple to make, super simple. For this one, I just had loads of really little simple ideas and I put them all together and it created this really unique, cool sample. So first of all, I started off with some chords. I bounced it all out because there's one plugin I don't have the full version for, so it always does this like really annoying crackling. Right, so first of all, I started off with some chords. I went... I used the preset SD Voxy Rocks and I put these chords down. So recently I've been trying to play keyboard a bit more. So I actually played this on the keyboard. It's in A minor because it's the easiest scale to play on the keyboard. Same as C major, they're both the same. It's just all the white notes. And here we've got an F major 7th chord. So you've got your normal A minor chord and then you just put an F at the bottom. So a simple trick if you're trying to learn how to play things on the piano. So every single minor scale, every single major scale, they all have like a formula. So one tone is 2 notes on the keyboard and a semitone is 1 note. So if I play the A here, 1 tone up would be the B. So the formula for the minor scale is tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. So for A minor, that would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So once you've got this formula, even if you've got it in front of you, you haven't memorized it. So you can pick any note. So for example, you can start at G sharp, and then you can just go through that exact formula. And once you just play around with it for a bit, you'll get a feel of where all the notes are, and then you can start to lay down some chords. And obviously with the A minor scale, it's a lot easier because it's just all the white notes. It's really easy to remember. So yeah, these are the chords. So after the F major 7th chord, we've just got an E minor chord. And then I've copied the E and pasted it up an octave. Yeah, so we've got another E minor chord here. I've just pasted the E up an octave, and then I've put a C down the bottom as the bass note. And then here, we've got an A minor chord. So you've got the A, the C, the E. I've pasted the C down an octave, and then I've just put an E an octave below as well. Right, so this last chord, I'm not too sure what it's called, but it just goes perfectly back into the first chord. So as you can tell, the sound doesn't sound that great at the moment because there's no processing on it. But what I've done is I've put a low cut on it and then I've put some distortion on there. So after that, I've bounced it out and I've pitched it down by 3 semitones and then I've chopped it up a bit. So I've just chopped after the notes played, just so there's no reverb in between and there's a nice gap. And then for this last chord, I've just chopped out the second half just to have another gap. It's really good for having the vocals pop through, which you'll see in a minute. So as for the processing on this sound, I've put quite a lot of effects on here. We've started off with a chorus. Obviously, if you've seen every single other video I've done, chorus has been absolutely rinsed. And I've done it again. Then I've added this reverb, Sunset Sound Studio Reverb. Amazing reverb. It's a really cool room reverb sound. So I'll get rid of the other effects and then I'll play it with and without the reverb. So this is without the reverb. And then this is with the reverb. It just it just makes the sound so much smoother and less harsh. Honestly, I would highly recommend this plugin. Then after that, if you didn't think we couldn't get enough chorus, we've added a flanger, which is basically like chorus. Then I've put a little pitch drift on it just to make it slightly detuned. I've added this weird looking reverb. So we've cut some of the lies.
What did he say?
So I've cut some of the highs and then I've dipped the lows a bit just to make room for the bass, and then I've boosted it around the mid to high range, which is where it pops through the most, and then an imager just to make it wider. And next I just copied the exact same chords over, pasted them into this pattern, and the effects that I put on it was another chorus, obviously, and then I've added this EQ to keep it in the background a bit. So I've cut out a lot of the highs to stop it standing out, and it just kind of blends in with the other chords. And then I've added a flux mini, which is just kickstart if you've ever heard of that, and it just adds this kind of sidechained effect to it. Then if I play it without, just to add a bit of rhythm to the sample. Then the next thing I added was this bass, which is also from Repro 5, which is an emulation of the Prophet 5 synth, I believe. But I've only got the trial version, so it keeps doing this really annoying noise. But yeah, this bass is called TUC Doomsday Bark. And then I've just followed the root notes of the chords for this. And the effects is where it really gets crazy for the bass. So if I play it without any effects... It sounds quite distorted and quite nice, but I needed more distortion. So what I've done, first of all, is I've put an EQ, boosting the bass a lot, and then dipping a lot of the treble, because the distortion was a bit too much for me on the high end, but I wanted to keep it lower down, so I've boosted it all down there. And then I've added Dist Coldfire, which is a distortion plugin made by Arturia, I believe. Great distortion plugin, and I've used the preset Drums Ripper, so now it just sounds like a rock guitar. It's so hard. And then I've put an imager on it to make it wider. And then I've added this EQ to just dip the highs a bit. And then dip in these mids where the distortion was like a bit too much. So yeah, then we get this. So the reason I put these gaps here was so that I could find something to put in the middle. And originally I did something with a synth and put some delay on it, but that's dead. So the vocals I got from Splice, I don't think I put any effects on them. I'm slightly in mono, so they hit right down the middle. So I just decided to chop them up a bit. And I quite liked where you could hear that it was obviously chopped up. I just thought it gave it like a really cool sound. Like this part here especially. Like it sounds really obviously chopped up, but it sounds so good altogether. And this sound also has a similar kind of reverb that I've put onto the chords, where it's like a room reverb, and it just sounds so good. And putting these gaps in the chords just really helps the vocals pop out a lot more. Because obviously if I just copy these over, it just doesn't hit the same. Like sometimes having less is more, and you don't always have to have your sound constantly playing throughout the sample. You just chop out little gaps to emphasize some others. It can really just transform the sample. So yeah, then for this last section, I just added a piano just to stop it getting so repetitive. All I've done here is just copy the chords over that I put in the synth. Then I've pasted them up an octave as well, just so it actually sounds different and isn't just repeating the exact same thing over again. So yeah, that's it for this one. If you want me to break down more samples like this that aren't really UK rap based and are just kind of random things that I've just made, just let me know because I really like making this kind of stuff. Thank you all for watching.